To 8, get to come out to start the proceedings in earnest. Well, let's look at the team lineup, starting with Spurs. And we stress again, it's a side with a greater emphasis on attack. Gordon Durie back after missing 8 games with hamstring trouble. Gary Lineker shaking off the strains which kept him out of the league game at Chelsea. And there's still a place for Paul Walsh, who was Spurs' outstanding player at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. David, how do you think they will be fitted into the framework?
Well, I think it's a straightforward back four there, with Fenwick, Sedgley, Mabbutt and Van den Hauwe, all real defenders, possibly not as comfortable surging forward. But then you look across the midfield and that is attacking. Allen likes to burst forward, Stewart's better when he's forging into the box, Samways the playmaker, Walsh may not be happy in that tucked-in wide position. Drury and Lineker back together again. Lineker has been the main predator all season, he's scored all the goals, they've had very little coming from midfield. Stewart, I believe, has got 3 in something like 34 games, Samways 2, Paul Allen 3, Naim 1. So they're going to be relying a lot tonight on those strikers. They're looking to Drury, Lineker and Walsh.
As for Aston Villa, they've just one change in personnel from the first meeting. Bryan Small, a 20-year-old graduate from the Football Association's National School, plays his first FA Cup tie. He'll be at left back with Steve Staunton, who limped off at Villa Park 9 days ago, fit again, and now in midfield. That's a key area for Ron Atkinson's side, with Dwight Yorke and Tony Daley supplying width, and one central striker, Cyrille Regis.
Yes, that will give Villa the confidence to burst forward and support Regis. It means they've got to work the ball out from defence. They've got enough bodies around. If Tottenham put the pressure on and force the issue, and Villa are forced to hit it long out, then it could keep coming straight back. Regis might need a partner. It'll be interesting to see as the game progresses how Ron Atkinson copes with his own formation.
The referee, Jimmy Borrett, a replacement for Joe Worrell in the original tie. He continues in charge of the replay. In his 5 years with Chelsea, Gordon Durie only scored 1 FA Cup goal, and that was against Aston Villa in a third-round replay back in 1987. It's the second act of this FA Cup drama, and it must be the final act. Neither camp particularly happy about the prospect of penalties if the scores are level after extra time here. But Tottenham have spent quite a lot of this season practicing them, mainly for their European involvement. And we are looking at a home team here of real cup pedigree, through to the semi-final of the Rumbelows League Cup. Since these two teams met at Villa Park, of course, that quarter-final win. And quite a tense occasion here it was against Norwich City. Into the quarter-finals of the European Cup Winners' Cup. Can they progress now into the 4th round of the cup that they hold? Staunton. Dwight Yorke, who was so relieved that Jimmy Borrett didn't blow for a penalty in the latter stages of the first meeting, when he clearly caught Paul Walsh. Here's Daley, much deeper now, but with the pace, of course, to take on even a mass defence, as Tottenham were massing them. And that's a rather nervy ball from Kubicki. And then a lunge by Staunton on Paul Allen. Really, since the advent of floodlights, night games at White Hart Lane have been very special affairs. This has all the ingredients for being another one. Steve Sedgley, not very authoritative then. Yorke plays safe back to Les Sealey. Villa boosted by holding Arsenal at Highbury on Saturday. Tottenham without both Lineker and Jury in a single game for the first time this season. Were rather tired and toothless at Chelsea, beaten 2-0, and no complaints about the justice of that result either. Yorke trying to get beyond Regis, and then reacting as the ball dropped his way.
It's so important that Dwight Yorke and Tony Daley push up against the Tottenham fullbacks.
Here's Paul McGrath, described by the Tottenham manager Peter Shreeves today as arguably the best central defender in the First Division. It's quite a compliment. But I think deep down Spurs believe that there might be weaknesses elsewhere in the Aston Villa defence. Bryan Small, the youngster, at left back. Kevin Richardson in the centre of midfield. Garry Parker, who's done well here in Nottingham Forest colours in the past. Regis. Here's Daley. Staunton's got into the middle, doesn't quite reach him. Samways trying to restore some order for Tottenham here. Prefers the left foot, as that rather showed. Nice ball from Staunton. The shot's on for Garry Parker, and Parker's through. Oh, and a player who really does enjoy coming here, whatever team he's in, very nearly giving this third round tie its opening goal.
Wonderful quick feet by Parker there. Look at the way he switched the ball, knew exactly what he was doing. So unlucky, just lifted it over Thorstvedt and lifted over the bar. What a wonderful start that would have been for Villa. They've got a good momentum to the game. And Tottenham now will be looking carefully at the next 10 minutes. They've got to get organised. It looks as though Staunton, Parker and Richardson in the midfield could get a lot of ball.
You can see the scars on this pitch, but it's much better than the one at Villa Park. All the players will appreciate that, including Regis. Anxious early moments for Spurs, but they have got the strength and the sophistication in their attack. Here's Stewart. Allen. Walsh has come into the centre. Samways trying to pick him out. Covered by Richardson. Fenwick. Now Allen. Walsh for Allen. Well stopped. Les Sealey had to go a long way to his left. Paul Allen doesn't get too many goals, but he certainly took the fight to Villa here.
Lovely little touch by Paul Walsh there, on his left foot. Not the one he might prefer, and well down by Sealey.
Here's Daley. There's left Fenwick. And Stewart, who wasn't going to be beaten though. Tony Daley already looking more of an influence in this replay than he was in the first game, where he played up front with Regis. Sedgley's clearing header from Richardson's corner. Staunton, now Parker. And Dwight Yorke is offside.
Early on, Tottenham in the shape of Vinny Samways and Paul Stewart. Paul Allen will have to decide who they're going to pick up, and they're going to have to stick with them when Villa are attacking. Being forward orientated, players who like to go forward and support the attack rather than do the defending, they'll have to make sure that when they work the ball past them, that they continue to track their men.
Not easy for Tottenham players of any generation to satisfy the demands of the White Hart Lane clientele. They expect such high standards here. winning isn't always enough. It's got to be done with poise and elegance and passing. And that times already has come from Villa in this game.
One could say, Martin, they pay good money for those demands. It's a very expensive place here to watch football. A marvellous stadium, but a very expensive place to watch football.
Well, they put their hands in their pockets again to come out in huge numbers tonight. And they're bellowing the home fans for a free kick. As Staunton brought down Stewart. Played short by Samways to Pat van den Hauwe. Jury. Regis, very nimbly done, trying to get Daley coming in from the left-hand side. I think it's in this particular role that he's interested Graham Taylor, and of course played as a substitute for England in Poland. Terry Fenwick had a good match against a different opponent at Villa Park, against Dwight Yorke then. Doesn't move too much from the right-back slot. Atkinson and Andy Gray have done the planning and are now assessing how the players are putting the theories into practice. Les Sealey has made one excellent stop already. You really can't get two bigger names in FA Cup history than Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa. 15 times between them they've won the trophy. Only Manchester United have equalled Villa's 7 victories, come into that bracket. Regis. And Daley, too quick for Mabbutt. Tony Daley takes Tottenham on, and Pat van den Hauwe, who's having a very stable spell in his career, blocked it well. Daley gives him a problem a second time. Sedgley, pressed by Parker. Tottenham haven't cleared it yet. All the while Regis is waiting in the centre. Oh, and Stewart! Miscued. Only at the cost of a corner, but there are some nerves in Tottenham's penalty area at the moment.
I was saying before the game how long Villa had been here, and because of the 10-minute delay it seems a very long time they've been around the dressing room area, but they've certainly started sharp. They're gritty and they're bright and zippy.
Regis, one of 4 Villa players in and around the goal area. Yorke made sure it crossed the line, and Thorstvedt laments Tottenham conceding a goal from a corner with 10 minutes gone. Richardson took it in at the near post, which they favour so much, and Dwight Yorke got it over the line.
Possibly Terry Fenwick just went a shade too far forward there. It was Drury, in fact, who probably should have been marking in front of McGrath there, and he went forward a little bit, lost a bit of concentration, and it was beautifully chipped just over his head, almost a teasing ball. And I have to say, it's no more than Villa deserve. They're the brighter starters.
Tottenham Hotspur 0, Aston Villa 1. And this young man from Trinidad and Tobago, honoured this week as the Barclays Young Player of December, the Young Eagle of the Month, and really having a most mature season for a young player. He's only 20, came on trial originally. Graham Taylor, in his time at Villa Park, spotted the potential, and that potential has very quickly become fulfilment. Daley, Spurs, who've laboured in the league at White Hart Lane, are behind on their own patch in the 3rd round replay of the FA Cup.
Ron Atkinson has certainly wound Daley up. He's got skates on at the moment. He's a threat every time he gets the ball, and he's giving Fenwick all sorts of headaches. supporters will demand it. They'll have to really get in there, and then space can open up on the break, and Villa have some pace, particularly in the wide positions.
Small has a problem, but he was being held by Walsh. Let's have another look at the goal from our camera in the net. Thorstvedt started to go.
He made an error there, Thorstvedt. He had no need to come chasing there. It was being dealt with at the back post, and no one picking up Yorke as he forced it over the line.
And from that angle, it looks as though Paul Allen had a part to play in the ball ending up in the back of the net.
Sure about that one, Martin. I think they're lucky to get that decision, the Villa.
14 minutes gone. Free kick taken by Staunton. Walsh was caught by Parker. Who was back on his own goal line, trying to help out a goalkeeper who had come at the near post and not got to the ball. As Dwight Yorke nearly deflected the ball, it seemed to bounce back over the line from Allen. That is not to Aston Villa, they are leading. Samways. Shaun Teale, who's been very solid for Aston Villa in his first season at the club. That goes for so many of the players on view today, of course. Atkinson applying major surgery. I'm sure delighted the way the season has gone, but this really would be a special night if they could embarrass the holders of the FA Cup. Mabbutt in behind Small, trying to prey on his inexperience.
I think that man needs to give them a little bit extra width, Paul Allen there. I think if he can come a little bit wider and try and stretch the Villa, on the other side one can't expect Paul Walsh to hug the touchline. It's not his natural game. He'll be picking up the bits and pieces when the balls are crossed in from the right. He'll be getting in behind Lineker and Drury. But they want some width up front, and they're not going to get it in a forward sense from either fullback, Hauwe and Fenwick. They're going to be occupied by Dwight Yorke and Daley, and therefore it's so important, I feel, for Paul Allen to go and do his bits and pieces in a wider position.
Here is Yorke. Waiting for the cross, plenty there to defend against them. Now Daley has made space for himself and didn't quite connect as sweetly as he would have hoped, taking the short route towards goal at the near post.
He got a nice clean shot there, hadn't he, Martin? You just felt that he might bend it to the other corner. Instead he's hit the near side, and Thorstvedt has said thanks very much.
Borrett. "17 minutes gone here, and a goal replay that affects the winners of this tie, Derby County and Burnley 1-0 up at the baseball ground. Walsh. Here's Allen. Some potential here for Tottenham. But Allen not really quite getting the help he might have counted on. There were too many players switching their attentions to the centre for a cross that didn't arrive. Now Daley. Now Samways, the ball in early, Mabbutt in difficulties. Oh my goodness, Tottenham have a mounting catalogue of goals they've conceded that have eventually gone in off one of their own players, with Gary Mabbutt unfortunate in that respect particularly. Walsh. But Spurs looking to these extra attacking strengths that they feel they're fielding tonight. Allen, and it's Walsh, and it's wide.
Paul did well in that build-up, taking the ball across the field, using Lineker, getting returns, slotting it out to Allen, and then who's in the middle? Not one of his particular strength, but there he is. He just glides behind Staunton there. Not a bad effort.
Walsh playing his 15th consecutive game for Tottenham in the starting lineup, which certainly is a rarity for him. Something that I'm sure he's benefited from. But whether Peter Shreves persists with using all three of his attackers will depend on what happens here tonight. So it's another challenge for Walsh to meet, and of course the jury as well. I couldn't envisage a situation where Gary Lineker would be easily omitted from the starting 11. Trying to steal a yard or two. He now leaves to Fenwick. It's just over Mabbutt. Jury waiting on the edge of the area. The onus very much on Tottenham to not just get back in the game, but reactivate their supporters. This is an unfamiliar position really for Tottenham in cup ties, although they were a goal down of course to Norwich City only last Wednesday in the Rumbelows League Cup and came back. They have been in the mire in league games. There's an offside now against Lineker, who stretched in, and the last thing Spurs want is for Lineker to feel either the toe injury or the groin strain that discomforted him a week ago, kept him out of the side at the weekend.
That really was wonderful defending by McGrath there. He didn't realise let's watch this attack develop.
Regis to Staunton. Back for Parker. Regis trying to wriggle free. And here's Jury, who can run. Kubicki is finding out to his cost here. Well, Jury has fallen into the penalty area, but it all started way outside. But he roared away from Kubicki then.
Yeah, that's the type of positive running from wide positions. I feel Tottenham are getting back in the game without real width, but it doesn't matter who gives you width, as long as they get that ball out wide and try and get against the fullbacks. Fullbacks at times tend to be isolated. Drury got Kubicki there, and he really raced for him and got the free kick.
Which Samways takes. Headed back by Allen. Oh, and Walsh was the thick of things again. It's another free kick for Tottenham. It's a difficult spell this for Aston Villa. Sealey comes strongly, connected well with both fists. A little nick by Yorke on Hauwe. Les Sealey was strong off his line then. referee just making sure that Naim warmed up well away from the touchline. He actually passed a comment, I think, on that foul by Yorke. Walsh, Kubicki, then McGrath, and that really is a measure of how Aston Villa feel at the moment at a clearance like that.
The third important, decisive challenge by McGrath there. It was McGrath who didn't see the linesman flag when Lineker got injured just previously, who made that tremendous last-ditch challenge. And now, when Tottenham are posing the questions, he's showing the answers at the back. He's really defending well, McGrath.
Mabbutt's header. There's a break on for Villa here, with their runners like Daley and Yorke. And Samways slaps it out. He'd done well to get from penalty area to penalty area. Needed some cover then. Again here, it's Sedgley. It's handball by Walsh. The referee very well placed to see that. It was also spotted, as you heard, by the Villa fans who are compressed rather into that corner of the ground on the far side. But they're delighted with the way the game's going so far. 24 minutes played, Villa lead by a goal to nil. Richardson leaving the free kick to Staunton. And Hauwe got to it well for Tottenham. Let's get the first chance to have a word from the touchline on the far side. David Livingston.
Martin, that was welcome relief for Aston Villa. Real concern on the bench here. Their main worry and their main message to their fans is don't let Spurs get in behind you. Keep the passing game, keep tight on them, but don't let them get in behind you.
Thanks, David. More from you later. Sedgley is making a bit of time for himself. Steve Sedgley, who has an FA Cup winners' medal with Tottenham, of course, last year, and with Coventry. Although he didn't kick a ball to win it, he was a non-playing substitute against Spurs. If I dare mention the occasion with David Pleat alongside me in the final of 1987.
You dare mention anything, Martin, it's up to you. You get paid, don't you?
Kubicki. Flicked on by Regis. At the moment, Tottenham needing all the help they can get defensively. And Jury mixing in well in that respect.
I don't know if it's a temporary change, but Paul Walsh has gone up the middle with Lineker, and Gordon Drury has gone wider on the left. But still really wide, not on the touchline, but in that half-cocked inside left to outside left position. Up the front then, it's Walsh and Lineker.
But just Regis through the middle for Villa, but they're supporting him very well. And there's a great appetite for the ball for Ron Atkinson's team. This is Daley. Something of a skimming shot. Jury. Lineker looking to guide it down for Samways. McGrath read the play well again. Allen did well to get there before Small. He slightly got wrong the angle of his approach. Paul Allen, who was very involved in the Villa goal, though hardly to blame for it. Just to provide a route on this right-hand side to get Spurs back on song.
Paul Allen might find a way around Small. He's naturally an attacking fullback. He would rather be going forward and concentrating and defending and getting the balls away. Just made one or two slight errors so far in this game with his positioning, and one gets the impression that either Paul Walsh with his low to the ground dribbling and Paul Allen with his sharp footwork could get the better of him. But at the moment, there isn't a player from Tottenham wide enough on the right to really stretch the game.
Jury is trying to do that on the left-hand side at the moment. Lineker, who can turn a game in a twinkle. anxiety amongst the Spurs fans. Lineker on the link-up this time. Samways. Walsh feeling Teale at his back, knowing where he was, claiming that was blocked by a hand, and Jimmy Borrett, for the second time over this tie, saying no to Paul Walsh. It was hit firmly, and if that was an arm, ball to arm rather than the other way around. Walsh couldn't really get any great velocity as he was falling. Run back well by Hauwe. Mabbutt trying to make it his against the odds. Tottenham are all over the place at the moment. Parker. Can Aston Villa capitalise on this break? Well, Parker's attempted cross. The steam taken out of it by Sedgley initially.
A really poor final ball by Garry Parker from a very good counter-attack position.
Shaun Teale heads away. And looked very quickly at referee Jimmy Borrett to see what the reaction was. Walsh hammered the ball against him. Daley. Erik Thorstvedt wasn't at his best at Chelsea on Saturday, either, having been caught out with the only goal so far tonight. I must say he was a real tower of strength in the cup run, which was so successful for Spurs last season, particularly in the semi-final at Wembley against Arsenal, of course.
He's done very well to regain his position here, because Ian Walker did particularly well for that spell.
Allen, on field again. Lineker still moving a little gingerly, could only prod the ball to Yorke. And although Mabbutt knocked him over, it was accidental. Dwight Yorke, as he does with most things, accepts it with a smile. Regis. Kubicki. Back from McGrath. Paul McGrath still being confronted by the pairing of Walsh and Lineker, with Jury staying on the left for this spell for Spurs.
It really is a problem for Spurs, because when they go forward, they haven't really got a holding midfield player. At times this season, David Hauwe has done it for them, so that whenever they have attacked, they've always been safe and steady against the counter-attacking of the other side, because they've always anchored someone in front of the back four. Tonight they haven't got that anchor. Both Stewart and Samways are forwards who want to go on and support attacks.
As David Hauwe has been left out of 3 home games in a row now. Very disappointed he's not even a substitute tonight. And the all-purpose Gudni Bergson on the bench. Here's Allen. Placed by Small again. Trying to almost bundle the ball past him. Staunton helping out. And has been, of course, the regular left back. And that's of some comfort, I'm sure, to Bryan Small to have Steve Staunton there when required, as he was there.
Yes, a covering player alongside him can be of great comfort. 2 left-backs, really. I always felt Staunton, when he was left of 4 in the midfield at Liverpool, was a very strong, forward-going player. And he's still a very young man, and I think it's going to be a very good signing for Villa.
Lineker. And again, Allen has to chase to the right. And the ball's gone out of play. It's a point, David, you've made a couple of times already, and that was another example of it. Massive kick from Sealey. well by Mabbutt. Stewart, who's very much responsible for organising those in around him in the centre of midfield, and it's an area at the moment that is a cause for some concern for Tottenham. Kubicki. Well, he's not yet scored in his short time in England.
I think he was in a better position than he realised there, Martin. He was right into the box. Van den Hauwe was out of the game completely. Drury misheaded it, and he's rather hit it somewhat meekly past that near post. I think that was a wasted chance.
Here's Yorke. Yorke again. And it's Villa's throw. 10 minutes just over to go to half-time. If you've just joined us, it's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Aston Villa 1. It might change even more in Villa's favour here. And Jimmy Borrett shakes his head as Steve Staunton becomes the latest player in this saga to believe that a penalty should be given, and it hasn't been awarded. We'll have another look at that in a moment, but Tottenham recognising that the game branch is going on here. Drury with a looping header. One or two comments being passed towards Jimmy Borrett about the incident at the other end of the pitch, but at least the referee has been consistent. David?
No question in my mind at all. Staunton took a stumble, and as in the previous call that Paul Walsh had against Shaun Teale, we have a couple of super optimists on the field tonight. Neither a penalty. Jim Borrett spot on.
Samways. Van den Hauwe. McGrath came through the back of Walstad. Again, the referee was very close to adjudicate. Here's Staunton rolling on from midfield once more, taking on Sedgley now. The outlet for him is Dwight Yorke. Parker. Richardson. Well, it was a most thoughtful pass that was spinning back into the stride of Regis, who was just offside, stated the linesman.
I think it was Dwight Yorke possibly on the other side of the field, Martin. Maybe we'll get another opportunity to see that. He went for the 1-2 with Parker. Parker realised he'd run offside, and then he nicked it to Richardson, who curved it behind the last line of defenders there. That's certainly offside.
Villa's attitude is under scrutiny here. They've certainly had some success by taking the game to Tottenham. They've also felt some of the sting in the Spurs attack, which might induce a note of fear. Regis. They battle against each other so often. Gary Mabbutt and Cyrille Regis, both great examples for young players. Samways. Drury. Yorke Yorke has come back. This will be the first barrier to Dury. And a reasonably effective one too. He made sure that Dury knocked the ball too far ahead, and Villa coped well enough that time. Good pressing by Walsh. And it's what Tottenham have to do. They've got to get the crowd going again, which they managed to do with just a bit of unselfish play there from Paul Walsh, typical of what he's been doing since he got back in the side. And Hauwe shapes for the throw. Spurs have, of course, scored from a similar situation to get back in the game a week ago against Norwich. Corner. Sedgley comes forward. Mabbutt, of course, will be there. And it is a deep corner. Actually, Mabbutt stumbled. Walsh. McGrath again, the main man for Aston Villa. He's 32 now, Paul McGrath. And he's scarcely missed a game since he joined Aston Villa from Manchester United, which is in stark contrast to his record at Old Trafford, where he spent so much time on the treatment table. Staunton. Villa coming out on top again, and Richardson with a delightful ball inside Fenwick for Daley. It needs a good cross here. Walsh backing his own skill, whatever area of the pitch the ball reaches him in. Sedgley intercepted. Stewart changing direction was just impeded. It's a free kick to Tottenham.
Love to be a fly on the wall at half-time in the Spurs dressing room, Martin. There's a few problems, there's a little bit of shape to sort out in the team here. If it stays this way to half-time, Peter might have to change something. At the moment, I can't see penetration. In fact, I don't think Sealey really has had an opportunity to make a fine save.
Just that early one in the game down to his left before the match really took shape. Here's Yorke. Venom in Villa's attacking again until Parker just dallied too long. Holland turning into trouble in the shape of Staunton, who's been very effective. And happily for Villa, very fit. Samways a long way. Now Sedgley. Under 4 minutes to go to half-time. Stewart furthest forward for Tottenham there. And I'd like to see him more advanced, I'm sure. Started to get back on the score sheet a little more recently. Stewart's header. Oh, and it's Dury has the shot. Well, Sealey couldn't have seen it had it buried itself in the bottom corner of his net. As it was, great relief for Aston Villa that it flew on and flew wide.
I don't know what Mr. Angry is shouting about there, really, because he certainly didn't see the ball. He wanted his defenders to go quickly to Drury and to block the shot quicker. They allowed him to have the shot. That's why he's angry this time.
Regis. The tie by no means over. But Tottenham troubled in this first half. They haven't played with any of the verve that really on paper this side has. And one half of North London still in the morning as far as the FA Cup is concerned. It's going to be a sad night for their great rivals. Kubicki playing safe. But all the disappointment of the first half would be wiped out for Tottenham if they could get level before the break. Hauwe, Samways. Spurs have the throw. They have Hauwe's ability to hurl it towards the near corner of goal area. Stewart, the prime target. And Sealey saw that he had time to get there. Kubicki clearing from Hauwe. Regis and Parker between them, dispossessing Samways. Daley can turn and face and open the legs. And he was caught from behind by Gordon Dury, who responsibly recognised that his own speed might serve Spurs then. But the challenge was ill-timed. And really Tottenham were terrified that Daley might have been able to run through them. The messages come from the bench for Shaun Teale to get forward. He was a bit reluctant with half-time approaching. It's Staunton, scooped up by Thorstvedt.
A somewhat anemic effort that. Didn't really get hold of it, Staunton. One could see what he was trying to do.
Regis. Staunton again. Supplying Tony Daley. Nothing anemic about that. And it flew straight into the goalkeeper's grasp. And Aston Villa, who addressed this match from the first whistle with confidence, are approaching the half-time whistle in the same vein. And for their considerable efforts in the first half, they have the lead. Hauwe. Jimmy Borrett blows the half-time whistle at White Hart Lane. One goal, it came in the 11th minute, and it was all about the two number 11s, Paul Allen of Tottenham and Dwight Yorke of Aston Villa. That after Erik Thorstvedt, in deciding to go for a near-post corner, really made the crucial mistake and wasn't there to deal with the flick on. In went Yorke, and eventually off the back of Paul Allen's heel, it goes over his own line, and that's the difference between the two sides at half-time. It's Tottenham Hotspur 0, Aston Villa.
We had, and Villa will look to be trying to catch Spurs on the break and get that second goal. But last week, Spurs proved yet again that they can come from one down. So it's an important early 20 minutes, I would think, for Villa.
Big night of football here on Sky Sports. No need to go anywhere else. Settle back and enjoy the second half with us. Spurs 0, Aston Villa 1, David Pleat and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Welcome back to White Hart Lane. Tottenham have lost here in the First Division to Chelsea, to Manchester United, to Manchester City, to Dave Bassett's Sheffield United, to Liverpool and to Nottingham Forest. And they trail now to Aston Villa, who have had a problem with their kit. You might have read that the training ground has been vulnerable to some burglaries. And Ron Atkinson went on to local radio yesterday to appeal for the return of some match boots that were pinched earlier this week. And happily, the thieves must have been finding their conscience pricked. They've returned the boots, which were brought down from Birmingham this afternoon. They were left anonymously in a car park near the training ground. And, well, it all is part of the FA Cup saga, I suppose. Anything is possible in this competition. Samways, no change for Spurs. And certainly one talking point at half-time. time. It's been the goal and goals that will go down through in the record books. David Livingstone's got some up-to-date news on that. We'll get that in just a moment, the next time the ball goes dead. Here's Regis. Free kick to Villa. David Pleat.
I've always regarded Ron Atkinson as having a very acute tactical brain, and it wouldn't surprise me, having outthought Spurs in the first half with more or less a five-man midfield with two wide players coming to support Regis quickly, it wouldn't surprise me if this half he puts Daley up the middle with Regis and gives Tottenham something else to think about, particularly if Peter Shreve's team talk at half-time about countering the way Villa were in the first half.
Fenwick. Now darting ahead of him, as one would expect. Lineker coming short. It breaks down for Tottenham. Owen Daley, can he scramble up? He has done. He's got Parker, who returns the compliment to his right. Richardson, brilliant play from Aston Villa. Garry Parker's round the goalkeeper and he can't find the net because Mabbutt heroically kept it out, and in doing so has stopped Spurs really slumping at the start of the second half and maybe going far enough behind beyond recovery. Great approach work though here.
Tremendous little run by Parker, beating the offside there, and really should have done better. Wonderful play by Mabbutt. Will that be the turning point?
But Gary Mabbutt, who is such a worthy defender and has had some bad luck recently with goals flying in off him. Goals against Tottenham, goals against England as well. But he didn't give up the cause as lost then. Thorstvedt having difficulties at the near post. Paul McGrath, who caused the problems on the goal. He's the player Staunton has been looking for in that area. It's Sedgley up the highest. Staunton. Sedgley. Off by Kubicki, who was in the centre then, with so many of his fellow defenders pushed up at the set piece. Stewart. And Tottenham still tentative when Daley takes them on, with plenty of justification really. Here comes Staunton. Still Staunton. Sedgley had to get the ball. There was no margin for error in his tackle then, but he did. Richardson, Staunton, he's offside. Well, now let's catch up with David Livingstone and the version from the dressing room about the only goal of the game so far. David.
Martin, I dared to suggest to Ron Atkinson and Andy Gray that perhaps the Villa goal was an own goal. They were horrified. Own goal, he said, what are you talking about? No question, it's Dwight Yorke's goal in their eyes.
I'm sure it will go down to Yorke in the Villa records, and really that's the way the football histories are compiled. The club seems to have a final responsibility, and Dwight Yorke is very much in your pictures again here. Well, he's got a natural flair for the game. Already many times an international with his homeland, Trinidad and Tobago.
I don't think Peter Shreve, it's like a boxing match. You know, in the end there's going to be a knockout and it's going to come soon if he's not careful. Peter Shreve's got to do something. They're running at the back far too easily. They're getting in behind them too easily. That was really wasteful finishing by Dwight Yorke after a splendid run. We've just seen Parker and Daley get through. Drury looks a little bit injured for Tottenham, and I would expect to see Tottenham make a change very quickly now. They've got to break up the rhythm. The pace of Villa is getting at the back far too easily, and at this moment there's an inevitable second goal coming.
There's a problem for the officials here, because Gordon Drury have lost a shin pad, and of course they are compulsory these days. And the linesman making sure that Drury replaced it. Aston Villa have quickly recaptured their rhythm of the first half. And Tottenham nowhere near capturing theirs. But there's still time, and there's still Lineker. And while he's around, Aston Villa will not contemplate a place in the fourth round until the final whistle goes with a lead intact. Stewart! Oh, that might have found its way in, but for Shaun Teale. Sealey was launching himself across. It's a corner. A little more like it for Tottenham Hotspur, the holders of the FA Cup. Teale doing well in the air again. Retrieved here by Allen. Now Samways. Everything right of him. But he was pressed by Regis, and that's where front players have to take the responsibility and help out those who are guarding the penalty area. He really forced the miss-hit cross from Samways.
Quite right, Martin. Real good response, team responsibility, that.
This is another view of the moment where Garry Parker was feeling sure that it was 2-0 to Villa, and Gary Mabbutt had other ideas. Hauwe, who we all know is one of the tougher defenders around. Peter Shreeves has been paying tribute to him, and I do think in his involvement with Wales as well, it may be that Hauwe will return to the international arena. There's been a bit of a lack of communication with Terry Yorke, I believe. Daley. McGrath again. Here's Yorke. Richardson. Hasn't wasted too many balls, but that was one of them.
Youngster did well there, Small. Chasing a poor crossfield pass and retrieving it and then getting back to Les Sealey. That'll do his confidence good.
Yorke. Trying to get a goal about which there is no doubt. And but for Thorstvedt's full-length dive, he would have had one. Regis following up. Villa again, showing that they have the knack of making shooting positions.
Dwight Yorke is really sparkling now. He's not only playing aggressively when he's got the ball, running at opponents, but he's passing the ball very economically inside too.
Here's Richardson with a corner. Paul McGrath's got it free, and it was almost a replica, except that Thorstvedt this time stood and watched it from the line. And Yorke, who undoubtedly did get a touch on the one goal before it went in off Paul Allen, Yorke couldn't connect that time. Parker, offside, and Thorstvedt has held it from Yorke again.
There's the header, little flick there, McGrath. Spurs haven't. And the possibility nearly then of a second goal.
And it was Yorke and Paul Allen face to face again in the same position. That's one lesson that Tottenham haven't learned, and it's been a painful lesson.
It's so important that the man designated to stand in front of McGrath doesn't edge forward at the last minute. and give McGrath no shield in front of him. He's got to try and stand still and make sure that McGrath isn't able to backflip that ball. He needs a marker in front and a marker behind.
Just over 10 minutes into the second half. Allen. Here's Fenwick. Quick throw for Tottenham. Cleared by Daley. Regis doing the holding up job excellently. Parker. Kubicki made up the ground well. It's another try, it's his second of the game. And a little further out that time. We mentioned at Villa Park that he's got an excellent record in Poland's equivalent of this competition. Played in 3 finals, twice a winner with Legia Warsaw. Samways. Off goes Lineker. They haven't had too many balls over the top. Tottenham. Oh, and that one shouldn't have got there, really. Arguably McGrath's first miscalculation of the evening.
It's a ball Tottenham obviously would like play, Martin. Down the channels for Lineker, Drury, Walsh's pace. But of course Villa are canny. They've sat a little bit deep. They haven't pushed and squeezed and left too much space behind the last defender.
There was just one chance at Villa Park which came to Paul Walsh late in the game there in similar circumstances to the incident you've just seen. But McGrath missed kicking, just got a piece of the ball and deflected it away from Lineker. Free kick given against Regis. McGrath. Samways. Jury. There's help from behind from Vanden Hauwe if Jury needs any help. Kubicki, who is being somewhat tormented by Jury's twists and turns, eventually lured into the indiscretion. And it's teed up from a short free kick for Jury. Suffering from cramp, I think.
I should be very surprised if Drury gets the distance in this game.
David, you did make a point right at the outset that sometimes playing all your 3 best forwards doesn't always work.
Yes, I think as at this moment it's easy to be wise with minutes to go, but Spurs, in trying to get an attacking formation, have thrown natural forwards onto the field, but of course they haven't got natural shape. It's like asking Walsh and Drury to perform wideish left at times when really they are not natural wide left players. I suppose in fairness to Tottenham, we don't know the full injury position. We know that the young boy Houghton can play wide and is a progressive player playing wide. Naeem, of course, who's on the bench, can play wide.
Offside against Walsh. I think several reasons dictated to Peter Shreeves in his selection tonight. Paul Walsh's form, certainly one of the reasons. Peter said to me after the Chelsea game, if I left him out after the way he played today, I would destroy him. He's done so well at Stamford Bridge. Here's Yorke trying to destroy Tottenham. Parker with a whip cross diverted by Yorke, almost to Staunton, who will still keep the ball in play. Yorke back on his feet in the centre. Now Small involved. Daley. I wouldn't think Aston Villa have played better than this in an away game all season. Stewart showing that Spurs still have some sophistication, but they need a bit more clout at the moment. Hauwe. Jury initially hugging the touchline, and then Parker preventing him making progress infield. Hauwe, Samways, a bit of pressure on him by Richardson. Richardson knocked back the full 10 yards, and he's complaining about it now, and the referee doesn't like that. Borrett is going to approach the Villa captain.
Quite right too, Martin. It's 10 yards, that's the rule, and you've got to accept your punishment. I just hope that when the next free kick goes the other way, he's consistent.
Staunton, who got header out of the penalty area for Villa. Once more, Tony Daley, a great outlet for Ron Atkinson's team. He wants to do more than that, of course. He wants to take the ball meaningfully into the opposition's territory, which he couldn't quite do then. Richardson, Staunton, Regis, and now Yorke. And Staunton's got in there, and he's come back into the side to play in what Ron Atkinson calls an old-fashioned inside left position. And he's been very involved as Spurs look to involve Naeem now. And it is Gordon Jury, who came back in the reserves on Saturday and played for 70 minutes. And has played for less here for the first hit, having been affected by cramp. And they're making the point on the far side that the hamstring hasn't gone again, just in case Tottenham viewers watching who are particularly concerned as to whether Jury might be out for another long period. That seems unlikely. Yorke wriggled on. Oh, and Daley! After some more bewildering play by Dwight Yorke. Tottenham in so much of a tangle defensively, and Tony Daley coming in at the far post.
Really fine play by Dwight Yorke. He's playing as well as I've seen him play this season.
Lineker to Allen. Villa somewhat regrouped. McGrath up above Samways. Now Regis, 5 up for Villa.
The game's really spread now. Ebb and flow, next goal wins it if Villa get it.
Staunton, offside against Yorke, who was looking along the line and trying to sneak in. Tottenham, as they have to do, get the game going again quickly. Now Lineker chasing one over the top, but Sealey has recognised the problem. Yorke. Samways. Now Naeem, you may remember, came on in the cup final last May when Tottenham were 1 down in rather sensational circumstances in place of Paul Gascoigne, and certainly played his part in Spurs' recovery to beat Forest. Can he do the same here to make sure that that FA Cup stays in Tottenham's grip? For all Aston Villa's valiant play so far, still only a 1-0 lead. Lineker. He manufactured a shot out of very little then, just to remind Villa that they've done the job well enough so far. But there's still time, 25 minutes in fact.
We know the cliche, don't we? It only takes a second, and I look at Naim here on the left, and I just feel if he can dribble into that box, or Paul Walsh can dribble into that box, there's always a chance they might get a penalty. While it's tight, 1-0, who knows?
Small. Teale. Yorke trying to catch out Van den Hauwe, who responsibly steered the ball back. Teale's header. Mabbutt. Here's Van den Hauwe. Lineker with two to the right. Stewart. Allen has got a good angle for the cross now. Richardson was an important figure for Aston Villa then. Mabbutt. More of the play now in Aston Villa territory. Stewart. Samways linking with Walsh. Stewart again. If Villa let Tottenham pick their passes, and it could be dangerous for them. Although there was progress then, it ended disappointingly for Terry Fenwick.
Sure, the standard of Villa's football has kept Ron Atkinson warm tonight. He hasn't resorted to an overcoat yet, Martin. Standing in that tunnel as calm as can be. He'll be very, very disappointed, absolutely distraught if he doesn't get a result here tonight after playing like this.
Sedgley. And you do sense now that this is another crucial phase for Villa. They've got to maintain the attitudes that have got them this far, the application, the organisation, laying crosses. Richardson again, just funneling back into his own area to deal with the danger. Stewart. Tottenham now have really got to roll up their sleeves and produce some courage and some character, knowing how dismal their supporters are feeling. Lineker lunging, plunging. Spurs getting closer. Yes, a more optimistic look. There's Richardson again though. At the moment Tottenham are picking him out with more regularity than they would like. That came off the head of Garry Parker. It'll be another corner.
Fenwick and Van der Hauwe now really pushing forward in general play, really trying to force the Villa back and succeeding.
Aston Villa all back, all in their own penalty area. There's no ball out for them except out of play, as Richardson found then. Daley. Good support from Regis and Staunton in turn. Now Richardson. Staunton going for the return pass, and the linesman. So that looked particularly tight, that one.
That was a good move by Villa. Small getting on the outside, Staunton using the inside man. Intelligent play.
Allen. Samways. In the FA Cup is always painful, but never more painful than when it's your FA Cup. It's the position that Tottenham are in, but they have time to change it, although they're angry and Naim could be in trouble for his remonstrations, namely that the free kick has been given against him.
Tottenham are putting tremendous physical efforts in a bid to get back into this game, but so far they're still unable to really create, and the Villa back four really looks solid as a rock. they've kept this unit together. They played at Arsenal and no goals conceded, and that must have brought them here today with a lot of confidence.
So Naim, that's his name taken. And what a contrast in the centre of defence of Villa. Paul McGrath, who's won the FA Cup with Manchester United, and Shaun Teale, who played for so long in non-league football, and who start at that level in the FA Cup in August. And you're usually out of it by September. Here's McGrath. Samways. It's wanting too long. Parker's tackle. And so anxious were Tottenham through Naim and Hauwe to drive on down the left-hand side that they both went for the same ball. And there was confusion at the end of it. By Parker. Walsh wondering whether a quick free kick was on and decided against it. Naim then does deliver it. And always Tottenham have to worry about the pace of Villa on the counter-attack, and Regis has power to go with his pace. Well, Samways was pretty much the last line, but it can hardly be construed as a goal-scoring opportunity there.
It should have been a yellow card though, Martin. He's clear through, although he's in a wide position, and it's not a red card. The field was completely opened up for Regis there, and he got the ball past Samways, and he's lucky really to be not given the yellow card.
I think Regis helped him by no complaints at all. Daley still in play. Again, the extra gear that Tony Daley has, and Fenwick was labouring, couldn't cut out the cross. There's been an exceptional play in that thrusting way from Aston Villa from Tony Daley and Dwight Yorke, and Cyrille Regis has had his moments as well. They lead by a goal to nil. A goal that, whatever the doubts, will be given by Aston Villa to Yorke. Regis. And Daley not quite that quick.
Another substitution, for Tottenham, Martin.
Well, it's the last card that Peter Shoes has to make. Off goes Terry Fenwick. Gunnar Bergson comes on. Back in 1985, he came over from Iceland and had a trial with Aston Villa. It didn't lead to contractual involvement in England. He had to wait until Tottenham tested him out. He's a man of many parts. He's certainly a player who can slot in at right back. Samways. If Tottenham were to equalise, of course, it would be extra time. I scarcely have to tell you that after that, if it was still level, it would go to penalties. Yorke trying to make all that academic. Here's Parker. Oh, and he hit it hard, hit it true. If he'd connected like that when he got round Thorstvedt earlier in the half, well, there would be 2 up. Thorstvedt made a good stop this time.
He's possibly had chances to score a hat-trick tonight, Garry Parker. He had that one in the opening 4 minutes, then at the start of this second half he could have killed the game, and there's another opportunity when Dwight Yorke unselfishly laid it back to him. Parker's had a very good game. I feel the way Villa have played tonight, they've been inspiring for an away side. It's been difficult for Tottenham. Tottenham are sticking to their task. They're still in the game. They can still get a goal. But really, Villa have played mightily well for an away side.
Samways is OK. Staunton. Now Richardson. McGrath was happy to go on in himself, but Staunton took over. We talk about away teams playing well, David. You were 1-0 up at Anfield till when?
Oh, I think it was the 95th minute, the equaliser. I think it was the 100th minute. It seemed like that anyway, Martin. It aged me. I'm just getting over it now. But Liverpool did very well. They kept at it. They kept going. We were very, very disappointed. But we're getting better.
But it's a recent example of how games can change. Yorke. Staunton. Ferguson trying to prevent the service to Daley. And he's done that nobly. Walsh. Stewart at the moment up through the centre. And Lineker rather listlessly there, allowing McGrath to challenge Samways. Daley once more. All Villa need is a second goal. And as much as you can in an FA Cup tie away from home, they could relax. But this is what the crowd have been hoping for until the flag went up.
That was a great diagonal ball, a good run by Lineker, but no question in my mind, he just got off his marks a shade too soon. No doubt about it, it was offside. But a good ball and a sharp run, a thrusting run. We haven't really seen Lineker tonight. He's probably had so many problems recently. It's very difficult for him to play to a high momentum every game at this moment.
Tottenham looking like a side that have had too many games recently. Samways, Naeem. From Villa's point of view, the countdown is on. 12 minutes left. Staunton recognising that a heroic charge forward isn't always the best way to maintain the status quo. Sides pretty even. Hasn't been a major factor on the match. One goal from a set piece is what it's all about at the moment. You're hearing is coming from the fans who've travelled from the West Midlands. They're singing their team home, and the problems for Tottenham manifest themselves in another injury to Mabbutt. Oh, Sealey's come a little unnecessarily, one would have thought. He's got back now. Walsh for Naeem. Hauwe, Samways wedging it back. Hauwe thought that Naeem would get there. Samways again. Naeem now. Up comes McGrath. And it's not just booted away, it's steered away to Parker and on to Dwight Yorke. Regis keeping pace with him in the centre. Daley is there as well. Mabbutt, who's been sorting himself out injury-wise, on the scene quickly. Stewart hasn't done as much in this game as he has in recent matches for Tottenham. Daley against Sedgley. Yorke there to lend a helping hand for Villa. And he was fouled as he went for the return pass from Parker. Have done so much in the second half in terms of making openings, but they haven't got a second goal to end the anxieties, and really it would put Tottenham totally out of their misery if they did score again. But this is an opportunity for just that. left foot, or Parker with the right. It's Parker, and it's offside. Cyrille Regis. Well, it's been that way for 70 minutes now, with only the rare extra flutter of Villa Hart's in defence. That's how well they've coped. Kubicki caught by a high boot. From Barcelona, catching the Polish international. Who is the Aston Villa physio, who have more than a passing interest about the fourth round tie if Villa get through, and if Derby, who are progressing well at the baseball ground against Burnley, also get through. Jim Walker, formerly a Derby player.
Yes, he was quite a talented outside left, was Jim, in the Clough Peter Taylor days at Derby, and he's done a lot of good work as a physiotherapist since.
Well, you have to take your knocks on occasions such as this and get on with it, and that's what Kubicki has been encouraged to do. It's ticking away from Tottenham. Teale. Mabbutt. Well, Tottenham had the ball. I suppose they're happy enough to get the free kick. It gives them a chance to push further numbers forward, Sedgley and Mabbutt in particular. Hauwe takes it. There's Bergson. Real danger here. In their desperation that Tottenham will totally lose their shape. They've got to gamble. They just hope something drops their way. Maybe from the talents at their disposal, something will happen for them in the nick of time. Hauwe's throw. It'll happen late, of course, in the quarter-final of the Rumbelows League Cup against Norwich City, when Norwich were beginning to believe, as Aston Villa are doing now, that they were going to go through. 6 minutes left for Spurs. Bergson. Samways. And Staunton, who's had a marvellous match, wins the ball for Villa and plays it sensibly to Regis. And Hauwe wanting to make sure that the progress was good from the back. And there's a bit more penetration about this attack now. Stewart. Ooh, and sliding in then. Hill nearly had a problem, but McGrath was right alongside him. Walsh. And Hauwe asking for Stewart to make something of that. It really suited the defender more. Shaun Teale climbed well. Now Yorke. And so often Aston Villa have found themselves in this position in the second half without being able to really kill the game off at the end of these orchestrated attacks. Staunton. Rather than the free kick handball given. Dwight Yorke was right on the line. Lineker. And Allen striving with all his might, as you would expect Paul Allen to do. That's the type of character that he is. That's really typical of Tottenham's night. Everything's been slightly off for them, David.
Yes, they've struggled to get really any shape, pattern. They haven't passed the ball particularly well. Their fullbacks have been tortured by Dwight Yorke and Tony Daley's pace. Regis has been so strong up front, and really, although there's a few minutes to go and anything can happen, Villa certainly, in territorial terms and in chances created, have been easily in front tonight.
Walsh, Lineker! Well, he's pulled the rabbit out of the hat so often in the past that you're surprised when he misses. And how Tottenham could have done with this one going in. Having to stretch, he couldn't control the ball just beyond the half volley, really.
Yeah, he had the snatch. It was a good effort. It felt quite kindly for him, really, but he's leaning back and then he's having to snatch it in. Not an easy chance, that.
And there are 3 minutes left. Staunton. Foul by Allen. That will all suit Aston Villa. A few more seconds will pass before the free kick is taken, although Jimmy Borrett has been conscious already of any attempt to waste time. Villa get on with the game. Parker. Cross comes Regis, but it wasn't a good pass. Lineker climbed well. Stewart up with him now. Guided off well to Allen. Well, it's no time for reckless challenges. It's a free kick that puts the pressure on the team that has played well for so much of the match. Teale's header, and Kubicki clears. 1 or 2 Tottenham appeals that the ball struck Kubicki on the arm. But certainly they haven't maintained their disappointment. McGrath, just what's required for Aston Villa in the circumstances. Hauwe have to chase back. 90 seconds plus stoppage time. Of the FA Cup are on the ropes. Walsh's expression there reflecting not just his disappointment with the linesman raising the flag, but I think just the way Tottenham have been throughout the evening. Of the match, even before they scored, Aston Villa 11 minutes. They've imposed their will on the proceedings. They've been able to keep that up. Mabbutt. McGrath has been a tower of strength. Forward from Mabbutt. Bryan Small coming through that test well. Regis. They've played well individually, Aston Villa, and tactically they've been superbly organised for this task by Ron Atkinson. But while there's life, there's hope for Spurs. Lineker, Teale trying to get with him. Lineker trying to line it up, and across came Small. 20 years old. Only his 5th game in the first team. He was the rescuer then, in the nick of time.
Yeah, he's done very well. He's quick on the turn. He's strong.
It's stoppage time now. Samways. And Ron Atkinson and Andy Gray are desperate to hear the last blast on the whistle, although as the ball is now not from Sealey's grasp by Naeem, the whistle must go.
Lineker's most annoyed there with Naeem there. He's only wasting Spurs time. What a stupid thing to do. They need every available second.
But the agitation from Andy Gray not really reflecting what's been going on from Villa's point of view on the field. They've been calm and composed, and their reward is very, very close now. They can almost reach out and touch it. And Garry Parker very wisely drops the ball down, but actually the referee knew exactly what was going on. And will have probably added on a few more seconds for that. Daley. Here comes back for him. Can Villa finish it in style? Well, Van den Hauwe and Mabbutt have had to do a lot of defending to keep it at just 1-0 to Villa. Allen. Spurs have been out of sorts, and they're very nearly out of time. Allen, certainly not a penalty. No way, not on any day, and not now when Tottenham needed it so badly. But there's still a chance for a cross. Walsh. It's a corner, and it's not yet over. Parker races back on the post, and Kubicki for sure as the corner is taken and cleared. Here's Walsh. And everywhere that Tottenham look for an opening, Villa have a barrier. It was Yorke then. Naim. Caught it at a fairly low point, which means that if someone had darted in at the near post for Tottenham, they would certainly have scored, but there was no one there. And get it out, come out, get the ball out, and above all, blow the whistle. That's what Ron Atkinson and Andy Gray want. 3 minutes, extra played, and that's it. Aston Villa have knocked the FA Cup from Tottenham's grasp. A most valuable victory for Villa, and a most deserved one. It's given more evidence of their re-emergence under Ron Atkinson, who of course knows exactly what it takes to win the FA Cup. He did it twice with Manchester United. And Tottenham, so often in trouble in league matches here this season, and with a home hoodoo providing something of a curse now in a crucial cup tie, they've still the Rumbelows challenge ahead. They've still Europe as well, but great pain for them tonight. The holders are out, and Aston Villa, who haven't won the FA Cup for 35 years, have landed the knockout punch in this heavyweight third round tie. The goal came after 11 minutes. It was an untidy one from the Tottenham point of view, but for Aston Villa and their supporters, and for Dwight Yorke, who will, I'm sure, claim that his touch before Paul Allen finally diverted it over the line is enough for him to be given the goal. He is now making his way towards David Livingstone, and we'll get some comment from down the touchline, but there's time for a final summing up from David Pleat.
Well, I think Tottenham really worked hard and kept going and did their very best to try and surmount a very difficult hurdle tonight. Villa got it right, they crowded midfield, they had two wide players getting at the Tottenham fullbacks. Some of their approach play was excellent, they created chances, they played with a positive frame of mind, they almost played as they thought they were going to win the cup tonight. There was only one winner. If it was a boxing match, they would have stopped it on points way before the end. I really felt that Villa played very well. Tottenham did their best, they stuck with them, but unfortunately they didn't have the shape, they didn't have the clinical passing, and we have to say on the night, well done Villa, you fully deserved it.
And well done Dwight Yorke, he's with David Livingstone.
Dwight, a fabulous game to watch and a great result for Villa. What kind of game was it to play in?
Oh, definitely. We come here, we think we come here with a lot of confidence. We think that we could have done really well. Obviously, the lads came out here, rolled their sleeve up, and obviously we got a result in the end.
course, the goal which knocked the cup holders out of the cup. You were involved in it. Are you claiming it?
Definitely. I've got the touch, and it eventually went through Paul Allen's legs, I think. So, I mean, I would definitely claim it, and it's just nice to see it going. I mean, I think all of that's going to be delightful with everything, so I'm quite happy with it.
Having a look at it now, we'll see if your opinion remains the same after seeing this.
Yeah, definitely. I've got the touch there again, and then it eventually went through Paul Allen's legs, and you can see. I mean, if it wasn't for my touch, I think Paul could have cleared it. Yeah, it comes up again. I've got the touch there. There it goes through his legs, and then over the line. So I'm delighted just to see it going, so I'll be happy to claim it as well.
What kind of achievement do you think this has been for Aston Villa tonight?
Well, I think it's a good thing. We got knocked out of the Ramblers Cup, and it's just happy to see us to go through to the